Tonight on The Market, Council looks to private companies to secure the future of a special needs high school in Port Augusta. And Salty Success organises hailed this year's festival a big win for the region.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. The Port Augusta Council has voted to accept the recommendations of a report into the future of the Miriam High Special Needs Centre by putting the facility on the market. It means Council will be open to interest from private companies in a bid to continue running the valuable service.
We understand that the service is very important to the people of Port Augusta, and it's been a fantastic service throughout its duration of operation.
The future of the service is now floating in uncertain waters. After months of deliberation and discussion with locals, Council's made a decision. It's now looking to private companies to help the service continue.
I think this is a very good planned way to go about actually looking what could be available, with the ultimate intention of actually trying to maintain the service and also grow the service.
Since its introduction in 2013, the complicated nature of the National Disability Insurance Scheme has made the cost for maintaining the service quite significant.
And Council has to make a decision whether it continues to fund that facility at the level of which it's going to cost with the introduction of the NDIS, or we go down the path of what we're doing now with the expressions of interest.
The Council is uncertain themselves what level of interest the facility will garner.
We may get a raft of people saying that they're interested in the service, or they're interested in the facilities, or a mixture of both, or we may get no one interested in anything at all. Locals
are being assured that the decision doesn't mean special needs services will stop immediately.
So it doesn't mean that a big for sale sign's going at the front, best offer and final offer and away we go. It's certainly not that at all.
GARTH, BURLEY, Southern Cross News.
A Broken Hill man will appear in court tomorrow charged with assaulting staff at the local hospital. The 41-year-old allegedly became aggressive during a consult with a doctor before spitting on a staff member and running off. Police tracked down the man at his home, arresting him a short time later. It's alleged he spat on a police officer as well. He didn't apply for bail. Whyalla Council is reviewing its place in the region, commissioning a report into which organisations it should be a member of. The CEO says it's important to ensure it's putting its resources where they best suit the city.
Whyalla's position on the map puts it in a unique situation. It shares common industries with the Spencer Gulf cities of Port Augusta and Port Pirie, but it's geographically attached to the Eyre Peninsula. This means it's currently involved with a number of representative bodies at a council level.
The EPLGA running south from us, and then we've got the Upper Spencer Gulf cities.
Add to that the RDA. Council is forking out a six-figure sum for membership fees. It's now reviewing the situation, appointing an independent consultant to report on where Council should focus its energies.
What benefits is the community achieving? What's the financial cost? What are the political outcomes? What are strategic?
The review comes at a time where tension is developing between Whyalla and the Eyre Peninsula LGA over economic issues. Some council members have openly speculated over whether Whyalla should dump the EP and focus on working with Port Augusta and Port Pirie. But Mr Cowley says it's not trying to railroad into any outcome.
Pure view of these organisations without any ancillary thoughts.
EPLGA Chair Sam Telfer says he hopes Whyalla will remain engaged on the Eyre Peninsula long term.
We have a lot of retail, education and health connections, so I do believe it's a good match for Whyalla.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
A major intersection in Broken Hill will be closed for the next 3 months while resurfacing works take place. From today, the intersection of Williams and Chloride Streets will be cordoned off. Locals are being told to expect delays. The work is expected to be completed by August. A prescribed burn near Port Lincoln will take place tomorrow morning. Residents are being advised the burn off at Munjowri Scrub, 18 k's west of the town, is expected to produce a significant amount of smoke. The burn is expected to wrap up by Wednesday night. The Salt Festival on the Eyre Peninsula has wrapped up for another year. The event, featuring double the number of acts while tripling crowd numbers, and organisers can't wait to get started on the 2019 festival.
A week of salty sessions and events wraps up for 2018, and there's plenty of numbers to be crunched.
We're thinking, 14 to 20,000 people have been through events, and that's not including places like Calatumbi where they've had their own events. We've doubled our number of events this year, and Salt Festival's alive and well.
I've really enjoyed how people have come together and how they're starting to understand what salt's about. They're getting it.
One event had everyone talking though. The inaugural On the Jetty dinner was a sellout.
We really wanted to make sure that people felt like they had come to a family table and that they were cared for, connected and really well fed. We had such beautiful sponsorship with our food. To be able to showcase that and fill people's tummies up was beautiful.
We had 100 guests there. People were trying to book in for the second night and it had already been pulled down. We're looking at how we could build on that event potentially over more days.
Organisers say those who contributed to the festival through workshops and exhibitions can't wait to do it all again next year.
I think it's going to go from strength to strength. This is only its second year. It's 200 and something or other events across 7 different towns. I think in 5 years' time it's going to be 300 events across the entire peninsula. So I'm really looking forward to its development.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
The former owner of the Port Augusta Power Station has today lodged an official bid to purchase AGL's Liddell Power Station for a rumoured $1 billion. Alinta Energy confirmed its submission of a non-binding offer for the plant, though it's unclear of AGL's interest in the move, as it says it has a commitment to provide customers with power until 2022. The energy giant closed the Northern Power Station in 2016, saying it was financially unviable. After the break, a new visitor centre in Wilmington with a unique local flavour. The details up next. Police have renewed calls for information from the public about a robbery in Port Broughton. They're asking anyone who recognises these men captured on a home security camera to come forward. Police say sometime on the 31st of March, the pair entered a home on Upper York Road and took a safe, some jewellery and this distinctive blue trailer. Anyone with information should contact Crime Stoppers. The pressure is on to increase the population in regional South Australia as Whyalla bears the brunt of a decline. ABS figures showed the city's population dropped by 440 people, an overall decline of 2.6%, making it the worst in the state. It's been a tough time for the region over the last 3 years as the future of the Whyalla Steelworks hung in the balance due to the administration of ANDREA. Port Augusta recorded a drop of 90 people, while Port Pirie saw a decline of just under 80. The small town of Wilmington is helping to shine a light on its local producers through its Town Visitor Centre. The newly relocated facility only showcases products from residents who live within 50 kilometres of the town, keeping a local flavour to the business.
They're all local creations, and they're hoping to attract a foreign audience.
You don't really know what's in the town until you come to the centre.
Everything comes from within 50 kilometres and it's all homemade or a product of something that is produced within Wilmington.
The shop stocks a range of products.
Locally made olive oil and soaps to homemade sauces and jams, knitted beanies, scarves, baby products.
Raylene has been a local producer for 30 years. She says the centre gives her business the opportunity to expand outside the local market. As well as olive oil, she sells
homemade soap that's made out of our Turkey olive oil and is also lip balm.
But there's a clear favourite for many, especially for the sweet tooths.
Most popular items that we have are probably the locally made honey.
The flow-on effect of this local model has a much bigger impact on Wilmington.
It gives people a reason to stop. So if they've got a reason to stop here, then, there's nothing to stop them from stopping at, the cafe or, going down to the puppet museum or the toy museum.
And people are stopping in large numbers.
We've had a lot of people stop. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had a busload of tourists stop.
GARTH Burley, Southern Cross News.
3 years on from a shark attack which nearly killed their son, the family of Chris Blows is saying thank you to the community which saved his life. They, along with friends, took part in a ride around the Eyre Peninsula to raise funds for the local hospital and ambulance service.
Local surfer Chris Blows lost his leg in a shark attack at Fishery Bay on Anzac Day in 2015. He wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the tireless work of those who kept him alive.
Probably a way of us thanking the ambulance service for what they did that day. If it wasn't for them, then I wouldn't be here. So, yeah, I can't thank him enough.
Chris's mum and family have been wanting to do this for 3 years to kind of give back to the community. So the ride's been a really good chance for them to raise some money for the hospital and also the Port Lincoln ambulance service.
5 days and 550 kilometres later, the group has managed to raise $10,000.
We had a really great night, first night in Port Neal at the Port Neal Hotel, and raised over $1,000 there with all the locals. And the other really great night was in Cummins, and we raised nearly another $1,000 there just from the generous donations from all the people around Cummins.
While Chris doesn't have any recollection of the frantic efforts by local medicos to save his life, he says it's great to give back and meet those so critical to his survival.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird being back here, but yeah, obviously it's something that Mum's wanted to do this last 3 years, and she's finally got the chance to do it, and I think it's worked out well.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill City Council has released the results of a survey into what projects the community wants to see completed. Just over 300 locals voted on 14 different ideas. Upgrades to the Sturt Parks playground and installing outdoor gyms were at the top. Others included a new skate park, upgrading the Lifeline Recycling Centre and light installations at the tennis courts. The state government is now considering all projects. Coming up, the young Broken Hill swimmer returns to town with gold. Details next. A Broken Hill swimmer has won gold at the Australian Age Swimming Championships in Sydney. Khalees Presler dominated in the pool, picking up first place and silver, as well as setting 2 state age records.
There's no rest for this golden girl, already in the pool and back to training.
I was pretty happy with myself. I was just going into the competition expecting to get a PB.
And while she did set new personal bests in Sydney, she also took out silver in the 100-metre breaststroke and gold in the 200-metre breaststroke, smashing her own state records. It's her first Australian Age national title.
I went back to the pool, warmed up, had a bit of a rest, and then I did my race where I did a 2-second PB where I did a 2:36, and the second person did a 2:38.
There was also a table of Australian swim coaches there watching the performance, and they congratulated on technique and the time. It was 3 seconds faster than last year's winner.
Coach Ricky Shaw says to have national coaches praising her efforts could mean big things in the future.
She's probably a bit young at the moment, 13 years of age, to get on any teams. Normally when they get to about 15 years of age, if she's still doing the same quality time, she'll definitely be on teams representing Australia.
Khalees's blistering time in the 200 breaststroke will now see her go to the Pan-Pacific Championship trials in Adelaide.
She's up against the Australian champions and the Olympians, so it's all going to be about experience.
Having started swimming at the age of 4, Khalees says she is proud to be a part of the Silver City Swim Club.
We're all like a big family over here, and all the coaches are volunteers and they do an excellent job.
Patrick Ryanke, Southern Cross News.
One of Broken Hill's AFL exports has made his AFL debut on the weekend. After being drafted to Essendon in 2016, Kobe Mudge had an outstanding rookie year, finishing second in the reserves best and fairest. He gathered 20 disposals and laid 1 tackle in front of 35,000 people at Etihad Stadium. Unfortunately, the Bombers couldn't get the win, losing to the Melbourne Demons by 36 points. Bad luck. Turning to local footy now, and West Whyalla has returned to the winners' circle with a comfortable win over Rapina. John Hunt joins us now. John, it was a good rebound from West.
Yeah, it was, Fraser. West were in an unusual position this week, coming off a loss for the first time in over 2 years. Rapina had started the season well, but they were no match for a Dragons outfit determined to make amends. Rapina fought hard in the first term to be just 3 points behind at the first change, but West kicked into gear, scoring 8-5 to a point in the second and third quarters to cruise to a 106-33 win and remind the comp they're still the front runner. In other matches, 9 from Anthony Malcolm helped North to a 59-point thumping of Waruna Bay, while Chad Smith and Cody Pettiford kicked 2 each to guide South to a narrow 7-point win over Centrals. To the the SGL now, and a 5-goal-to-1 final term helped Central sneak past the Lions. 5 goals from Lionel Brown helped Premiers South overcome a determined Sollies in the grand final rematch, and Port were too strong for West. It was round 1 in Port Lincoln, and Wayback defeated Marble Range by 2 goals. Mallee Park overcame Lincoln South, and Tasman smashed Boston by nearly 20 goals. Over in Broken Hill, 6 from Cody Shawn helped South belt North by 92 points, and Centrals were too good for West. It was round 4 on the York Peninsula, and Moonta defeated the Crows. Central York came from behind at half-time to defeat Kadina. Pascaville defeated Ardrossan 77-57, and despite being held goalless for 2 quarters, Southern Eagles defeated a wasteful Wallaroo. And finally, in Great Flinders footy, there were wins for Ramblers over Ayr, United over Cummins, and Lock over Tumby Bay. So that's all in footy this week, Fraser. Plenty of other sport happening as well, and I'll bring you those results tomorrow night. But for now, it's back to you.
Thanks, John. Amy's along with the weather details next. And Amy, it was a sunny start to the week as school returned today.
That's right, school is back and the sun was shining, Fraser. However, a change is predicted in the coming days. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. It was a beautiful sunny autumn day around the region. Port Augusta reached 27. Temperatures in Whyalla and Port Pirie sat in the mid-20s, while Broken Hill also experienced a sunny day with a top of 23. Taking a look at the satellite now, and despite some cloud over northwest South Australia due to a weak trough, it's not producing any rain. Skies are clearer elsewhere under a broad high. If you're lucky enough to spend tomorrow on the waters, northerly winds will shift northeasterly up to 15 knots. Seas will reach 1.5 metres, while the sun will rise at 6:53 and set at 5:40. Another mostly sunny day forecast for all districts tomorrow. Another day in the high 20s for Port Augusta and Port Pirie. Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay will sit in the mid-20s, while Cleve can expect a top of 26. A rainy change is predicted in Port Lincoln towards the end of the week. Similar conditions in Cleve, however, showers are expected to ease by Friday with a top of 21. Meanwhile, despite possible showers, Woodnell will get a burst of heat on Wednesday, reaching 30 degrees before temperatures drop. Whyalla will also see a change with showers on Thursday and a top of 22. Temperatures will rise in Port Augusta this week before a fine 23 on Friday. And after some showers in Kadina, conditions will fine up by the start of the weekend. Tops of 22 forecast for Port Pirie at the end of this week, while Clare will drop down to the high teens after a fine start to the week, and some cloudy skies expected in Broken Hill with temperatures in the mid-20s before 21 on Friday. So Fraser, despite the sunny days to kick off the new school term, a chance of some showers in the coming days around the Spencer Gulf.
Not a bad way to start the week at all. Thanks, Amy. Look at tonight's top stories. Now the Port Augusta Council has voted to accept the recommendations of a report into the future of the Miriam High Special Needs Centre by putting the facility on the market. It means Council will be open to interest from private companies in a bid to continue running of the valuable service. A Broken Hill man will appear in court tomorrow charged with assaulting staff at the local hospital. The 41-year-old allegedly became aggressive during a consult with the doctor before spitting on a staff member and running off. And Whyalla Council is reviewing its place in the region, commissioning a report into which organisations it should be a member of. The CEO says it's important to ensure it's putting its resources where they best suit the city. And that's the local news tonight. Thanks for your company. I'll be back later with some updates, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.